Okay, so this is the unit plan. My name is Jarosky White. Um, and basically, can students classify and understand the meaning of Greek and Latin roots? Can students read and spell essential words? Can students identify phonograms, gerunds, and passive voice verbs? Can students make common core approach? Can they take the common core approach to close reading of nonfiction articles? And can students organize thoughts on two separate diagrams that show similarities and differences among nonfiction articles? Can students synthesize similarities and differences among two non-fiction articles? Can students construct responses using guided questions by including evidence from the text and explain why evidence supports the constructed response? Can students evaluate each other's work using rubrics? Grade level 6 through 8, I use the Common Core state standards, use context as a clue to meaning of a word or phrase, use common grade appropriate Greek and Latin roots affixes as clues to meaning of a word, demonstrate command of the conventions of standard English grammar and usage when writing and speaking. Explain the function of verbals, gerunds, infinitives, participles, form and use verbs in action and passive voice. Cite the textual evidence most strongly supports an analysis of what the text says explicitly, and delineate and evaluate the argument and specific claims in a text. And these are the essential questions for the unit. What can I do to advance my vocabulary and deep reading skills? How can I organize, synthesize, explain, and evaluate constructed responses? Okay, this is the Weebly. This is the website that has been created. Vocabulary development, deep reading, and constructed response to nonfiction topics on violence. Unit plan can be accessed here. The week-long lesson, day 1, day 2 activities, along with a video for those days. Day 3 activities can be downloaded, and the video connected to the activities can be also seen. There is a PowerPoint on video games that the students will be able to access, and they will get into groups and they will ask themselves, should we prohibit minors from purchasing video games that portray graphic violence? They will look through all the definitions of graphic violence, and they will be able to come up to a conclusion themselves on whether or not, based on the research, whether or not teens should be allowed to continue to purchase violent video games. So on day 1, students will refer to the directions for that day. And on day 1, the teacher will direct students to follow to the following website. You're going to go here to this website. This is where you will be able to access your spelling words. 1880 freight. Remember, we're working with EIGH, IGH, and OUGH. The actual vowel diagrams and phonograms that we're using are listed here. A for A as in 8, I for I as in light, O for O as in although. Your essential words for this unit are auxiliary, daughter, dinosaur, mortgage, ocean, and tongue. Read and spell words composed of Greek combining forms and identify The function of gerund and gerund phrases identify passive voice verbs as well in this lesson. You will take the short quiz on the spelling. You can use the symbol links to go to the quiz. This is the quiz created on Classmaker. 8, of course, we spell it E-I-G-H-T. Next, 18, how would we spell it? 18, 18, 880, 18. Students will take this quiz. Their results will be calculated. The teacher will have access to them. The students will go to the following link to play a game about gerunds and infinitives. It's a battleship game. They will select the skill level, click reposition to change the position of your ships, and start the game. The students should be able to figure this out for themselves, but it gives them opportunities to answer different questions on gerunds. Students will read the instructions for embedding Adobe products into Google Docs, because this is the actual activity that they will be completing. They're going to look at this website. They're going to read this article about what to do if they are going to use some information from Adobe Illustrator. The student will then watch the videos on the debate on gun violence, and those videos are on the Symbaloo link. This is the first video and this is the second video on the news debate on violent video games. For day 1, there are a lot of activities, but I think they can be handled. Day 2, students will go to this website to play the Greek and Latin roots game. Represent your country in the Olympics. You not only have to be strong, but you have to be smart to win. Play It's Greek to Me and learn about Greek influences on the English language, and they can choose different levels. Here are is the link to the template for the Google Doc slideshow that they're going to be making in regards to their vocabulary words. So the students will create a Google identity, be able to log in, share the Google Doc. These are all the resources that I provided for the students for that lesson on that day. Day 3, learning. They're going to look at a blog at the New York Times website, and it's about the violent video games debate. What I think is not true because I play video games every day, blah blah blah. So students can get an idea of what an actual blog will look like. Students will present a Google slideshow that depict the vocabulary words. This is the finished product of what their slideshow should look like. For IGH, flight, light, might, fight, night, sight. EIGH, 8, neighbor, weight, 80s clothing, height. I'm sorry, maybe we shouldn't have included height. I would have meant to put weight. OUGH, dough, cough, drought, bought, thought. So that was the finished product. They're watching a video on the First Amendment, which are also on the Symbaloo website right here. In addition, the student will create their own online blog. They will use blog.com, and they will begin to work more heavily on their writing as they do use the Weebly, and they are able to download their file on the news debate. It's a differentiated article by grade levels, and as you can see, the material, the answers that are required are on different grade levels. And these are all the tools: how to write an essay, types of essays, youth online kids essays, middle school writing, expressing, essay wizard, app shopper for writing essays using apps. Now, finally, day 4, the students will answer differentiated questions and fill out Venn diagrams, getting more into their writing. Final thesis response will be created, and they will write an opinion essay, and they can use this website. It's a wonderful tool for them to use. We're not going to open this file. Then the students will make a 1-minute video presentation on their response to the topic overall, and they could go to Vimeo.com and create their own Vimeo account, and they will be able to upload their video that they create. And these are all the resources that will be used. Now, as far as rubrics, general rubrics for daily work that you want to use in the classroom, now go back to the actual Weebly, back at the actual Weebly website that I created for the class activity itself. There are concept maps to be seen. There's a copy of the actual scrapbook that I showed you here in the PowerPoint format. And most importantly, the constructed response, a grading rubric, will be important for us to use, because this will allow other students to evaluate each other's work. And it's simple. It's a very simple rubric, and it should allow students to be highly engaged. And with the use of this symbol, I mean, it just puts everything into perspective. Videos right within a box that they could click on and watch without really having to navigate far away from what they're doing. And I really appreciate this. Thank you.